There they are in the room, Fed Chair Powell and his fellow board members gathering once again to determine whether or not they're going to continue to raise interest rates. They've been on a mission since March of 2002, aggressively raising interest rates to try and combat inflation that we haven't seen since the 1970s. News, media outlets, investors all anxiously awaiting this next decision to see what they're going to do. After all, their decision affects the cost of borrowing to buy homes and refinance debt and other implications into the economy. Their decision also affects the investment decisions in communities as well. So let's picture this for a minute. Fed Chair Powell, he steps up to the podium and he says something like, "We've decided at this time to go ahead and pause in our interest rate cycle. We're no longer going to raise interest rates at this time. We're going to allow economic data to continue to guide our decision making moving forward." Sigh of relief. People can now just kind of take a deep breath. The cost of borrowing should plateau here for a minute. Well, today I want to give you one of the best and most consistent investment ideas after the Federal Reserve has paused during an interest rate tightening cycle. All right, so we're going to go back to the 1970s, post-1970s, where there was extreme inflation and high interest rates. So since 1984, there's been 7 periods of tightening where the Fed has been raising rates. After they've paused, the bond market has returned positive returns 100% of the time after 6 months, 1 year, 3 years, and 5 years later. Even better, these returns have been really, really good. So on average, after 6 months, the bond market had returned 8%. After 1 year, 13%. After 3 years, average annual return 10%. And after 5 years, average annual return 10%. These are really, really good returns in what's historically considered a conservative investment. Okay, so again, after the Fed pauses, during the last 7 periods of tightening, we've had wonderful returns in the bond market. So the Fed getting ready to meet, all eyes on them again. Let's go ahead and wait and see what happens, and we'll pivot from there. But there's definitely some good opportunities in the bond market moving forward, potentially, if the Fed pauses. We'll see you next time.